evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the launch of the Global Diversity Exchange. We have a full house today. I think our keynote speaker, Pico Iyer. Thank you. Pico is in Toronto, I believe, after 15 years, and his fan club is out in full force. I just want to give you a little bit of information about the Global Diversity Exchange, which we are launching today at Ryerson University at the Ted Rogers School of Management. Our business is decoding how diversity helps cities, countries, and regions connect, prosper, and thrive. In order to do this, we will focus on thought leadership, policy innovations, and solutions, and the practical application of these in a local and global context. In other words, a think and a do tank. But first, a caveat. Diversity is a very big word and includes all of us because we're all different from each other. We will focus on the diversity that is a result of global migration, at least for the first 3 years. This because we are more connected than ever before. A cartoon we know in one city provokes protests in several other continents, and no one country can pretend that it can solve the crisis in the Mediterranean alone. It is because of this interconnectedness that the GDX is global in its outlook, understanding what works, what doesn't, finding the points of light, and amplifying these in different ways, looking and learning from failure to find pathways to inclusion out of exclusion, whether this is at the workplace, in the boardrooms, in our communities, in legislation, or indeed in our own hearts and minds. Tonight is all about the latter, and it is the first in what we hope will become an annual tradition here at Ryerson of bringing leading thinkers on migration and diversity to this city. Canada, of course, is known the world over for its story of exceptionalism in multiculturalism, but we know we are not perfect. There are some things we do really well, better than others. But precisely because of this, we have a higher responsibility to be more reflective, more critical, more open-minded, and more inclusive. A close partner of ours and sponsor of tonight's lecture is the Royal Bank of Canada, which has taken seriously this responsibility to do things differently and continuously search for improvement. RBC is one of Canada's leading employers and has established itself as a leader in diversity and inclusion. This could not have been done without leadership right from the top. And I'm pleased that we have with us someone with extraordinary vision to give remarks from RBC. Please let me introduce Zabeen Hirji, the Chief Human Resources Officer of RBC, to say a few words.
Good evening, and thank you, RATNA, for that kind introduction, and more importantly, thank you for your unwavering leadership, your passion over so many years on this issue that is so critical to Canada's prosperity. You truly are an inspiration to so many of us, and thank you for that. I'd also like to acknowledge Maytree and the Ted Rogers School of Management for your leadership in creating the Global Diversity Exchange. Congratulations on the impact that you're already having in this sold-out room is certainly a testament to that. Along with my many fellow RBCers in the room, I'm honored to be here to celebrate this inaugural lecture. I know it will be a thought-provoking evening and a catalyst to take diversity to the next level. And RBC really is delighted to be a part of this event. Hiring new immigrants has been an important part of RBC's business strategy for a long time. And I say business strategy because that's really what it's about. Simply put, we believe to serve the market, we must hire the market. Immigration is one of the many pathways to attracting talent and to driving productivity and innovation to fuel Canada's economic growth. As RATNA put it so well in a recent Globe and Mail interview, what's good for immigrants is good for Canada. That's true today, and it was true more than 150 years ago when our young country sent out a message to the world. Come join us. We need people to settle the land, to work it, and quite literally to shape and build a nation. Most Canadians don't have to go very high up on their family tree to find an immigrant. Canada is a land of immigrants. Today, we see immigration reshaping our talent pools and our customer markets, giving rise to tremendous opportunities to drive economic growth. To preserve our quality of life in Canada, we must become the destination of choice for skilled immigrants. And effectively integrating skilled immigrants is a need to do, not a nice to do. Despite our progress in Canada, some of the statistics still concern me. For example, new immigrants with university degrees have twice the unemployment rate than that of Canadian-born people with university degrees, while at the same time we have a skills shortage and many jobs remain vacant. Yes, we've had many successes, and Canada is a model globally, and that is a great sense of pride to Canadians, and we also know that more must be done. Not-for-profit agencies, businesses, governments, and universities need to collaborate in new ways to ensure integration into the labor market, the foundation to social and economic prosperity. And GDX is a great example of this new model of collaboration. My own story in Canada started with immigration. I arrived from Tanzania as a teenager with my recently widowed mother and brother, and as you can probably tell, I am of Indian origin. My grandparents immigrated to Tanzania from India. I remember the experiences of my mother in the early 70s. She was faced with this vicious cycle of no Canadian experience, no job, no Canadian experience. And that experience has inspired me to change things for the next generation. Today at RBC, we seek out people with international experience to get the best talent and to better serve our diverse clients. In fact, we view international experience as an asset, not a liability. Immigrants are an important client segment for us, and we focus on helping them in their firsts of banking. We believe financial inclusion enables economic integration. We need more businesses to see the tremendous reward that comes from hiring newcomers and helping them reach their full potential. And that's another reason why we're honored to be partnered with GDX on a number of initiatives. Early examples have been inspiring businesses to integrate immigrants by sharing our expertise, best practices, and success stories, and providing immigrant entrepreneurs with guidance to navigate the Canadian business culture that is so critical to their success. We must enable newcomers to Canada to contribute to the economy, and we must welcome them into society. This is about full inclusion. When immigrants achieve their dreams and hopes for a better life, we all win. It's about the prosperity, both economic and social, of our region, of our Canada. It's about nation building. Thank you, and over to you, RATNA.
Thank you. I've always loved that line, to sell to the immigrant, you have to hire the immigrant. Thank you, Zabeen, and thank you, RBC, for your constant support. We will now move on to the main feature of the evening and why you're all here when outside is so beautiful. We are delighted to have with us tonight Pico Iyer as our inaugural lecturer. Pico's remarks will be followed by a Q&A with Doug Saunders of the Globe and Mail. So let me introduce Pico and Doug to you in reverse order. Doug Saunders is an international affairs columnist and editor of the Globe and Mail. He's a thought leader in Canada and beyond, and has published 2 books that are intimate to tonight's lecture topic. The first, Arrival City, is quite frankly one of my favorite books. It chronicles the incredible surge from the rural to the urban, from one part of the world to another part of the world. It has won many prizes, including the Donner Prize for Best Book on Politics. His second, The Myth of the Muslim Tide, examined the effects of immigration from Islamic countries to the West. Welcome, Doug. We're delighted that Doug is not only representing what I think is his own boundless curiosity. I wake up every morning and read the Globe and Mail and think, what is Doug going to write about today? But he's also representing the commitment and the sponsorship of the Globe and Mail as our media sponsor for tonight. And now to our thought leader. Pico Iyer will talk about the new migrant reality. It is a topic that he knows and lives. Born to Indian parents in Oxford, England, Pico was educated at Eton, Harvard, and Oxford, raised in California, and now lives in rural Western Japan, where he has ostensibly lived on a tourist visa for 27 years. I don't know how he does that. He is truly a global soul, I think. This experience of deliberately choosing to be on the outside and looking from the outside to the inside have nourished his writing, his thinking on uprootedness, exile, possibilities and longings, and the foreign spell. He was named by Outside Magazine in 2012 as arguably the world's greatest living travel writer, and was chosen by Utne Reader as one of the 100 visionaries worldwide who could change your life. Those of you who have not seen his TED Talks, please add your name to the 2 million plus who already have. He's the author of many books, including The Global Soul, The Man Within My Head, Video Night in Kathmandu, and his latest, The Art of Stillness. For those who have had the pleasure of reading or listening to Pico, you will know he is as incisive as he is lyrical, as relevant as he is reflective, and I know him as someone who is as humble and as modest as only he can be. There could be no better fit to help us launch the Global Diversity Exchange. Pico, the podium is yours.